Good afternoon, Holmes Road Church of Christ. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope this finds you having a great Wednesday. I just wanted to share a devotional thought for you. Maybe we can just all be uplifted by a little bit of God's Word today. One good thing that's happened with this pandemic is I've been able to read a lot and get caught up on a bunch of reading I've been wanting to do. One of the things I like to read is National Geographic. And the most recent one that I just read, I'm not saying it's the most recent, but it's the most recent one I read, but it had the top 10 most important inventions in history. And I thought that was an interesting thing, but I'll go from 10 to 1, how they recorded it. I'll keep the biggest one for last, but how they saw it. The number 10 one was the camera, invented by Johann Zahn in 1685. I didn't realize the camera had been around since 1685. I mean, obviously not the cameras we have today, but the invention of the camera was invented in 1685 by Johann Zahn. That was number 10 on their list. Number 9 on their list is the most important inventions in history was refrigeration. And refrigeration was invented by a Scottish scientist by the name of William Cullen in 1748. The next one on their list, number 8, it was the telephone by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. The number 7 was the clock by Christian Huygens in 1656. The next one that National Geographic had was the automobile. Is originated the one who's credited for inventing the automobile is Carl Benz of Germany in 1885. The number 5th most important discovery or invention in history, according to National Geographic, was vaccines. And the first vaccine ever made was by a guy named Edward Jenner. He was the first vaccinologist, and he invented the smallpox vaccine in 1796, and so he's considered the father of vaccinations, and so medical vaccines is considered to be invented by Edward Jenner. The next one, the number 4, was Henry Edward Roberts in 1974. That's even when I was alive, but in 1974, Henry Edward Roberts invented the personal computer, and so that ranked number 4 on the National Geographic list. The number 3 was airplane. The airplane invented by some people. This one's debated, but some people credit it to the Wright brothers in 1903, but other people say it was in 1906 by Alberto Santos Dumont. So I'm not going to decide who wins the debate on that, but both of those kind of people argue about who the inventor of the airplane was, but it's one of those two. And the number 2 on the list was Thomas Edison with the light bulb in 1879. And the number 1 most important invention, according to National Geographic of all time, was the printing press. It was the printing press by Johann Gutenberg in 1440. And so all of these people invented something that's very important, and so much so that National Geographic felt the need to rank them. And I just thought that was interesting. Every one of these people, with their inventions, they have a legacy. We all know that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb and many other things, and that's his legacy. I mean, when you think of Henry Ford, you think of the Ford Company, his legacy of cars and automobiles. When you've ended your life in this world and you're ready to go meet the Lord, what is going to be your legacy? What are you going to be remembered for? It may not be as world-changing as these top 10 inventions that were listed by National Geographic, but you're going to be remembered for something by someone. And it got me to thinking. In Genesis chapter 4, in verse 1, in Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, it says, Adam had sexual relations with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. Eve is a woman with a lot of legacy about her. I mean, we all know about Eve and know her story. She was the first person to sin. She was the first person to give birth. She's the first woman to be a mother and a first wife, and she has a lot of firsts. And so she's easily remembered for a lot of things. And she has quite a legacy. In the Gospel of Luke even traces Christ's genealogy all the way back to Adam and Eve. She was the woman that sort of started it all, and quite a legacy, isn't it? we remember her today for those legacies that she left. Yet the thing that grabs me the most with all of her legacy, with all the things she did, with all her firsts, she was a pioneer type woman, but notice her complete and total reliance on God in that verse. When she gave birth to Cain, she said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth the man." With all of the things she accomplished, with all of her legacy, she, with complete humility, says, "I've only accomplished these things with the help of the Lord." And so it just impresses me, her humility. She understands whatever she accomplishes, whatever her legacy is, it's because she accomplished those things because of the grace of God. And so when I ask you today, what is your legacy? What will you be remembered for? Are you going to be remembered? Is your legacy going to be that you're an integrity-filled businessman? A loving mother? Maybe your legacy is you're going to be remembered as an incredible mechanic. Maybe you'll be remembered as a nurturing teacher, or a knowledgeable college professor, or an incredible athlete, or a fair policeman. Whatever you are going to be remembered for, remember the lesson of Eve from Genesis chapter 4. Remember that above all, whatever our legacy is, you're only going to attain it with the help of the Lord. So today, humbly rely on God for all you do, and you'll be rewarded. And that's my lesson to you this afternoon, Holmes Road. I hope to see you soon. We'll be seeing you quickly. Have a great day.